Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Tahir from Family Pediatrics in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm sitting outside in the evening fighting off some biting bugs. Hopefully they won't bite me too much. I don't have my usual camera with me today, so I'm experimenting and using the camera that's built into my um, MacBook computer. So it's not the ideal, but it'll work, okay? I'm going to do a question and answer. There's 3 questions that I'll be addressing, and I'll be looking on the computer screen and reading the questions and answering them, okay? So question number 1. And first of all, thank you so much for participating and submitting the questions. Question number 1 is, at what age is it appropriate to introduce solids to infants' diet? So this question is from Jessica for her baby Adeline, who's 17 weeks old. She's approaching 8 weeks, and she sits up with support and is working on sitting up without any support. She shows an interest in solid foods, and formula just is not cutting it. Well, Jessica, not too long ago, we used to start feeding babies at 4 months of age with solid foods, but lately that recommendation's been changed to 6 months of age. The reason is that although the babies may seem ready externally, internally, their gut just is not ready for solid foods. So the recommendation is to wait a little bit longer, and sometimes it becomes a very, very difficult issue for some babies to wait because all they want to do is eat, and formula just doesn't give them enough filling. So one thing you could try is adding a little bit of organic rice cereal to the formula bottles. You could get organic rice cereal, make sure it doesn't have soy in it. So look at the side panel for ingredients, make sure there's no soy, especially if your baby has any allergies to cow milk proteins or soy proteins. And try adding about 1 teaspoon and 4 ounces of formula in a bottle. Shake it up really well, mix it well, because if you don't and it bunches up and clumps up, it's going to clog the nipple of the bottle and your baby's going to get really mad at you. So go ahead and give that a try and see if that helps, and let me know. Okay? That's a very good question, Jessica. Thank you so much for submitting that. Next question we have is from Alyssa. Alyssa has a daughter, 9.5-month-old, the cutest little baby around. And Melissa writes that she has been having random jitters. She'll randomly shrug her shoulders to her ears, almost as if she's getting the chills. She doesn't do it often, but she seems to do it when new foods and different tastes and textures are introduced. So the question is that normal or not? Well, whenever I hear about shaking and jittering, the main thing that we need to differentiate that is seizures. Seizures can happen in babies. It's not very common, but that also will cause jitters and motions. But they're not related to a certain type of activity that your child may be doing, such as tasting new foods, for example, or laughing, or being very tired. So knowing that it's related to some activities such as tasting new food, it's very unlikely that these are seizures. Also, when babies are having seizures, they're kind of out of it. They're not alert, and they're not talking or smiling, and they may be mentally out of it. So if your baby is smiling or cooing or talking while they're jittering or moving, it's probably all normal. Babies do have a sensitive nervous system, so some babies can be very jittery, but that's usually early on, like in the first 3 or 4 months of life, and later on that decreases. But if your baby is jittering when she is tasting some foods, I think it might just be from a lot of excitement, from trying out a new food that she really loves or one that she doesn't like, and she's like, "Mom, stop it!" So I think it's all normal. All right, nothing to worry about there. Very good. Thank you so much, Alyssa, for submitting that question. There's actually more than 3 questions, so I counted wrong. I apologize. Another question. I want to be your nurse, by Heather. And another response to that, no doctor, you can't take her away from me unless you also are looking for a surgical tech too. Well, you know what? Honestly, I am so honored when nursing staff or other staff ask me if there are positions open at our office. I used to manage a lot of those details myself for many years until I got a really good office manager who manages all those things. So thankfully, I'm able to offload all those difficult things to somebody else who can concentrate on that, so I can concentrate on all the fun things involved in pediatrics and doing videos and teaching, etc. But our office is based on medical assistants, and currently I don't hire nurses. As the office grows or things change, I may hire nurses, but as of right now, I just don't hire nurses. But Heather, if I were, I'd be calling you. So I hope that makes you feel better. All right, we'll move on to the next one here. Okay, so our next question is from Katie. Katie has a difficult situation with a 4-year-old, and as you listen to this, I'm sure there's lots of parents who may relate to this. So Katie writes, I am concerned about my oldest daughter who is 4 and going on 14. A lot of us have kids like that, unfortunately. Her attitude and sass are just a surface problem. She has an incredibly short temper. She gets so angry about the smallest things, even hurts herself in a tantrum, pulls her hair, slaps her head, scratches her arms. I also think she has some mild sensory issues with loud sounds and seeking oral input. Well, Katie, I'm sorry to hear that you're going through difficulties like this with your daughter. I want you to know that you're not alone, and this is a difficult situation, really with no easy single answer. It's going to be important to consistently do disciplining with her, which involves timeouts and taking away items and taking away privileges. She's old enough that she will definitely understand that. Her temper tantrums are a way of her getting your attention. And she has some kind of positive rewards. When she has the tantrums, she gets your attention. So it's going to be important to try to move her to a safe location and just walk away and don't even look back. If you peek back, you might see her trying to watch if you're watching her or not from the corner of her eye. So try to walk away and don't look at her. That way she knows that the temper tantrums are not the way of getting your attention. After she calms down, then you can start giving her attention again. So those are some behavior modification techniques that may be helpful. It's also very helpful to get some counseling. There are many counselors in the area that will talk about how to do certain techniques with certain children and customize it to your family situation. So getting some professional counseling, I think, is a very helpful thing to do. The other things you want to do is overall health. Make sure that your daughter is sleeping well. If she's not sleeping well, she's going to have worse problems with behavior. Nutrition is very important. You want to make sure she's not getting caffeine from someplace. Some kids have worse behavior if they eat sugar or chocolate or even certain kinds of dyes in foods that are common in foods that we buy. Some kids can also have worsening behavior if they are on certain kinds of diet. Some kids who may have a little bit of sensitivity to gluten, for example, may need to be on a different diet. Constipation is a really important thing to look at also. Make sure your child isn't constipated. If she is, that's only going to make the behavior worse. So those are some of the things that you can look at to try to see if your daughter has some of those issues that she's dealing with and address them. So there are some medical issues involved too. Now, there are other nutritional supplements that may be helpful, some vitamins and herbal supplements that help our nerves and also help us to calm down. Those may be helpful for her too. There are also essential oils that you can use, such as lavender and chamomile, which help to relax our minds. That might be helpful for her also. So, like I said, there isn't an easy answer. However, one thing I want you to be aware of is that all of this might not just be her behaving badly. It may be certainly issues involving sensory problems or other things that need to be looked at. So I recommend you do talk to your doctor also about that, about her, and review what's been going on to see if there are some medical situations that need to be addressed. Okay? So in summary, what I would tell you is sleeping, make sure she's sleeping well, her nutrition is good, she's pooping well, and have her on some multivitamins, and there's specific herbal supplements and vitamin supplements that help with behavior, and seek some counseling. There are also very good books that you can get. One of them is titled on how to one of the books there's also lots of resources in terms of books that you can get that deal with raising determined children, and also different parenting methods. You know, as we grow up, we often don't learn a lot of things that are available to us, and new tools that may be helpful. So educating yourself is a very important part of everything. So like I said, there isn't an easy single answer, but there is a lot of hope. I do see lots and lots of children in a situation just like hers, and there is a lot of help available for you. Well, I wish you all the best with her, and I hope things get better as time goes on. Okay, last question is from Jessica, and she's asking about the ear piercing that I've been doing at the office. I've been doing ear piercing that I say is safe and painless, and she asks, is it really painless? Well, Jessica, I really have some good news for you. I have actually pierced lots of kids' ears, and there's a special method I use to do that, and I use a prescription numbing cream, so the ears are quite numb, and also I use a device that is not a spring-loaded gun like people may use at the mall. I also use a better cleansing method to minimize chance of infection. Most kids don't feel anything at all, but everybody's sense of pain is a little different. So there are some kids who feel a little bit, but it's nowhere close to what it would be without using any kind of numbing medicine. So I definitely have had some great luck with doing ear piercings. I do have videos also on my website. If you look under parents and then look under the ear piercing tab, you'll see videos of kids that either I'm doing a ear piercing on, or that just had an ear piercing. So it's become a family event. Lots of times you have the child come along with the parents and the siblings, and in one case I had a grandmother watching everything live on FaceTime. So Jessica, it does definitely work, but I can't guarantee 100% that there will be no pain. But definitely I can say it's minimal to no pain. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today and participating and submitting your questions. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye now.